Hey everybody, it's Carrie.
And it's Tiffany.
And we're with the Joyride Show.
Yes, and this is a quick little introduction to part 3 of the Patrick DeHaan after interview.
Yes, so we have already uploaded the first 2 parts of the after show. Well, okay, backing up. We came back to my house after the show and we had lunch and we talked and we got to ask him all kinds of questions.
We talked all about his book, which is The Alien Handbook, A Guide to Extraterrestrials, and he introduced us to his ET friend, Zebulan.
Yes, and
Zeb, for
Zeb.
short.
Yeah, we like Zeb. And so Zebulan kind of hangs out way above in his ship, I think above the Indian Ocean is where they said that he was.
Yeah.
So, we so in this last part of part 3, Zebulan actually, did I say that?
Yeah,
Answers a bunch of
questions. But then after the show, Carrie was able to connect with him directly.
Yeah, this was about a month ago. One morning I woke up and I was writing, and that's the way I kind of connect. And I realized I was not speaking with my guides, I was speaking with somebody else, and he said, it's Zebulan. When I quickly put my pen down and said, no. I don't know. So I texted Patrick DeHaan and I said, do you think that I really did connect with him? He said, yes, you connected with him. Ask him questions. He's interested in you guys and what everybody's doing, and so I'm curious. I'm wondering if you guys can connect to him as well. And if he does, let us know.
Okay, but then in Metaphysical Mom style, she's in carpool line talking to our friend Nora Yolis Young, who's a past life regressionist.
Yes.
And she says, well, I want to talk to Zebulan. So she's asking him questions, and you feel...
Yeah, so she would ask, and then I would bring his response in, and all of a sudden my face got hot and turned bright red. And I actually felt that little heart squeeze, that really sweet... he actually talks about that, and like, how does it feel? And he said it feels like love, and that is exactly the way it felt. So yeah, that was really cool.
Awesome. So yeah, we want to hear if you guys have any connections with him like that. Oh, and next week, June 12th, Facebook Live, Tuesday 10:30, regular show time. We're going to have our 100th show party, and you are invited.
Yes, and we will have surprise guests, and we will have giveaways. We'll have lots of giveaways.
Yeah, so we just want to celebrate our milestones here on the Joyride. And like you said, our Joyride bus is getting bigger and longer, and more people are jumping on board, and we love it.
Yes. It'll be a lot of fun. So tune in and give us a shout. And
yeah, enjoy the interview.
Yes, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Take care.
There's no aliens involved in it.
So can you connect right now to your alien friend?
Yeah, Zebulan is around, and he said he would be happy.
Okay.
He's a he. Zebulon is a male.
He
I
really
think
is
that's
male?
why he's picked that term. He's male.
From
Zebulon.
Canopus.
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 Maybe it's Canopus. You could be right.
Canopus.
That's the name he picked for
Yeah.
himself to use to help identify. Yeah, he's around now. He said this to me last night.
That he would be around?
He's around now.
Well, thank you for all the information you've been delivering
Oh my
today.
goodness.
Is there anything else you would like to add as we kind of wrap this up?
Yes, ask more questions. That's what he says.
In general or right now?
Anything. About aliens. About him.
Okay,
He says
does
not
he
what's
have a-
already in the book. He said people can read the book.
No. I know we need to give them a reason to buy the book.
No, he doesn't want to repeat himself. He wants to give new information.
New information that's not.
He said information you already have doesn't help you.
Okay, so from where you sit on the outside of the 3D, and I just call it that, just where we are.
He cuts you off right there and he says, no, the 3D is as much for me as it is for you. I just have 4th D also. But
Okay, so
3D is for me too.
Okay, so is it true that the structure that we're in is all the way up to 12D? I mean, if we have to put a term on it.
There are 5 dimensions, he says, and there are subparts within, yes. And one could argue many dozens depending on the portions of the range. But he says in large macro terms, there are 5.
There are 5.
Humans live within 3, then there's a 4th and 5th. But there are many other parts which could be called subdimensions that could total a dozen or many dozens depending on how one wishes to set the parameters of them.
And thank you. And do you have access to the different timelines, different dimensions from where you sit? Different possibilities, potentialities.
Not all. Within the ones I've agreed to have part of my existence, yes. Which is essentially 4 dimensions. Yes.
Which is 4 dimensions.
Yeah, not the 5th. The 5th is the absence of a physical body. No physicality as we understand physicality and as you do.
Okay.
That's the fifth. There's none. Your soul, what you would call your guardian angels, guides, they are in the fifth and participate in the fourth, the third, the second, and the first, just as I participate in the fourth, the third, the second, and the first.
Okay. Okay. It's funny. I have to sit with this.
Alien contact, he says, and this has been said before, and I will repeat it, is interdimensional contact. But that doesn't mean that the dimensions that you occupy are not part of the dimensionality I am. They are.
Okay.
Ours is just a little broader. But they overlap and they connect.
But you're aware of that.
Oh, yes.
Where we're not, we are pleasantly so unaware of things as a whole. People think they get up, they go to work.
More of you are aware than you think.
Good.
They
Good.
just don't talk about it. But that's a social issue, not a scientific one, he says.
That's funny. So now, what is the need, if you have access to that, what is the need for you to have a guide?
Same as yours. There's no difference.
Well, I always thought we had a guide because we don't have access to the other side readily.
No.
Okay.
Your guide gives you access. That's what the guide is for. It's like the tires on your car, he says, it will give you the ability to move. Your guides give you the access. You'd be lost without them.
Okay.
You wouldn't be you without them.
That's funny. Because I think it's like seeing the back of your eyeballs. You just don't. Yeah, I have to sit with that one too. Well, thank you.
Guides do the same thing for us. They give us access to things. We're not omnipotent. We don't have all knowledge and all power. Compared to some civilizations, and in some ways compared to yours, but on the soul level, we're no different from you. In fact, many of you on Earth have incarnated and been one of us at some point, and we know that. Some of you might not know that. We might not know the details, but we know who. We watch.
So so right now, are you transferring thoughts into Patrick, or are you actually in him?
No, we're transferring thoughts. We're communicating back and forth.
So where are you?
We're never
physically?
in Patrick. We can't. We can't be in. Only Patrick can be in Patrick.
Okay. So where are you physically?
Above Earth, orbiting in our ship. Right now, it is above. You would call it North Africa or the Middle East. We're going back and forth. You can't see us. By design, by intent. We don't want you to see us. Unless we want you. Then we show you. Then we show ourselves.
So this was a pre-arrangement.
He says if you want to show your backside, you can any time, but you choose not to. That's your choice. And you have good reasons for those choices.
He has a sense of humor. Do you feel the same emotions that humans do?
Yes,
Same
sometimes.
range of emotions?
Yes, and often more.
And often more.
Because humans limit their emotionality with denial. We do much less of that.
We prefer to feel pain. We're comfortable with pain.
Do you feel the same level of physical pain and discomfort? Do you learn the same lessons? You know, we often come here and I think our soul learns a lot of lessons from pain, discomfort.
Oh,
it's
yes.
a big catalyst for us.
Wonderful school. This is why we watch Earth with such intrigue and fascination, because the lessons learned are so good. They're so good.
So
Yeah, but
rich.
we learn many ourselves also. And many of us, as our souls, chose to incarnate in civilizations on planets around Canopus for specific purposes that those environments provide, they supply. And that's very good. But Earth is an exceptionally good place for this in many ways.
Why is that?
The environment of your Earth is very unique. The combination of environments is very rare. Many of the things that exist on Earth exist all over the galaxy, but to have so many of them on one planet is rare, number one. Number two, the human civilization, especially now, that is so blissfully unaware, sometimes ignorant of what it has, is amazing and very entertaining and very instructive to observe. To see humans take what they have for granted.
I was going to say, I wish we could appreciate what we have.
Well, he says many humans, many of you do. Many of you don't. It is watching the do's and the don'ts get together. This is very, very interesting for us. That's why we like to do it.
Do you have any advice for our Joyride show, or Carrie and I?
Keep doing it. Keep going. You're doing great, but you know that, so I'm not really telling you anything you don't know. Keep going. We're watching just as excited as all of your viewers, maybe more. We
Why?
love this.
Why is that? Because we're getting word out?
Yes, but we understand where this is going in a way you don't yet.
Oh, I love that word. Any tidbits? Anything you can? Any sneak peeks?
Of, be more specific, tell us, a sneak peek of.
Timeline we're on.
No, you said you don't know where this
Which
is going
laundry
yet.
detergent to buy, which will be the new, which.
No, you said you don't know where this is going yet in a very broad stroke. So I was like, what do you mean by that?
What you as humans are going to do as a society together. You don't know how some people are going to react, positively, negatively. The combination will be delectable.
I hope it feels delectable.
I know. So there.
It will feel delectable to some people, and to some people it won't. That's what will
It'll
make it
be
delectable to watch.
Comfortable, yes.
Well, here's the question. We have had many listeners that are really fascinated by the idea of what they're calling the transformation or the shift, and that is a wall of energy that comes that is upgrading us as a whole. I just got it. It's a DNA upgrade. Anyway,
Well, is it a DNA upgrade?
is it a DNA upgrade?
It's a DNA effect.
Remember you
but
had
it-
talked about the drop coming in?
This DNA effect will occur over time in some people who choose to go in certain directions. Just as on Earth you have people of very dark skin, light skin, different hair texture, different skin tone, because they chose to go to different places on Earth, and all of the latent changes to the latent abilities or the latent qualities which are in the DNA manifested themselves. So therefore you have the differences, as will occur to humans as they choose to consider and embrace certain aspects of their soul. Their bodies will change along with it. This happens now. We all know this. If a person believes that they will be sick, they get sick. If they believe they will be healthy, they are healthy. This is nothing new. The change to the DNA will essentially be the same change that occurs to DNA for someone that goes to an area where it's very warm and sunny. So naturally their hair texture and skin color over time will adapt. As people decide to change their way of thinking and embracing of their true spiritual nature, so will their DNA change to adapt to better take advantage of it. It will not happen on a specific day, and it will not download like a file from your favorite website, but the effect will be much more profound
That sounds
and rewarding.
Okay, I have a question.
Go ahead.
In the book, you speak about teaching our children, about war. What are some ways that as parents of children to teach about their truth, their peace, their love?
Drown out the negative, not by eliminating it, because this is wrong. That's not voluntary. That's censorship. Drown it out with the positive, and it will suffocate from lack of air. Violence has to be fed like anything. Don't feed it.
That's beautiful.
Well, I've often told my kids, anybody can blow something up or kill something. Any idiot can destroy something.
Stop
energy-
calling them idiots.
Okay.
That's the good step.
But
They seem to be idiots. This is a social value. They are a soul a little bit misguided that could use some realignment.
I wasn't meaning it in a person. I just meant anybody.
No,
It's
we
easy to turn
we understand what
to
you mean. We're
destroy
giving you the
something.
advice you asked for.
Thank you. Anybody can destroy something. I feel like you need to learn how to create and invest the time. And
They already know how to create. You're correct. Just
But that's what I was saying. Is that the teaching?
Yes,
Teaching them how
yes,
to create,
yes.
how to love, how to nurture
show them how to
something.
create something.
How to grow
In Earth, you
something.
call this a hobby. Give them a physical hobby. They like to build a little airplane, then let them do that. And then they will learn to build. And then they'll build other things. It will occur to them. Their guides will show them, build this, build that, and they'll build.
Some
And
of
then
video
their
games are
thoughts
like
will crowd out. The idea of violence will be drowned. The solution, and we're not saying anything new, although this might be different for some people hearing it for the first time, but we are not saying anything that has not already been said many times by many spiritual beings and other what you call extraterrestrials, although we find this very funny because you are the extraterrestrials. We do not see ourselves this way, but we understand. Belonging eliminates the problem. Humans almost always lash out in frustration because they feel disconnected. We are going to give specific advice. Again, this is not new, and this has been said many times. Many of you will understand these thoughts. Many of you might think that this is the personal opinion of the person saying them. This is our thoughts. Women, if you want to have children and become a mother, do so. If you don't want to become a mother, do not. Men, if you want to become a father, do so. If you don't want to become a father, don't. What does motherhood, fatherhood mean? If you don't understand exactly what that means, it is not hard to ask or look around to see good examples of it. If your life has not been one with good examples of it, it is not hard to find one that has it. Be that to your children. That will drown out the idea of violence. There will be no place for that. It won't have air, so it will die like a plant with no water. The seed will wither. It won't grow. They won't do it. This is essentially what happens now. Most humans are not violent. Why aren't they violent? Despite exposure, continuous, constant exposure to the teaching and the examples of it, they are not. We will say the three of you sitting at the table have, to varying degrees, been exposed to this and also many of the tools. You would never do this. Why? And you're not unique. You're not special. There are millions and millions of you within 100 miles of where you sit now in human distance that are exactly the same. Why? It is very rare among you, the few that would do this damage. Why? Well, that very few can be eliminated. This is easy to eliminate, but it has to be done by the very few themselves. Otherwise, it will not work. It cannot be forced upon anyone. It only can be shown and then adopted. That will work perfectly in all cases. That is our advice.
Thank you, Zebulan.
Thank you. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. So, do you have a family?
Oh yes, we all do. Although our definition of family might not be as you understand it. We do not necessarily consider physical offspring as immediate family, and then other people to whom we might be related in a physical sense as less family or less direct or immediate family as humans do. So the definition does not match in the same way. But essentially, if we took the time to explain, and we won't because that would be too much time now, the answer most certainly is yes.
Oh, that's beautiful. Can I ask one more?
You may ask as many as you like.
Okay.
It's 3 o'clock. Just checking your time.
Okay. So there are many channels that channel from the future back to us because their societies have decayed and they trace the timeline back to what we do now.
Which timeline? The Earth timeline or their timeline?
Well,
There are two ways to see this.
Well, it's their timeline, and their society leads them to a place of basically annihilation.
Yes.
And so they are now working with people here on Earth now in our timeline.
Mm-hmm.
Are these in fact true? And are you from this current, like our timeline?
Oh, I'm from your timeline. This is the reason we have had the contact with Earth, and we have gladly, happily taken on this custodian or supervisory role, although we hesitate to say supervise because this suggests in the human language control and manipulation, which we do not have and we would not do. When we say supervise, we mean the environment around Earth to make sure that Earth remains independent, uncontaminated, undistorted. That is our role. You are not influenced or manipulated in any way by us, and that's absolutely our determination. So, to answer your original question, we are very much a part of the current reality and parallel reality path that Earth is on. You are referring to other extraterrestrial civilizations attempting to explore parallel realities which lessen or avoid the circumstance they have encountered. This is what is occurring. This is not of material consequence to Earth. This is done for the purposes of the other alien extraterrestrial civilizations, for their own benefit, without harm to us. If any negative occurrence were to come to us, to the civilization from Canopus, and to me, Zebulan, and our civilization, we stop and hesitate with these names because these are the human names. We do not use them. We find them very entertaining. If we perceived of difficulty or challenge or threat to us or to Earth, this would not be permitted. But there is none. This is purely for the benefit of the visiting extraterrestrial civilizations coming through different dimensions and parallel realities, for their benefit. Yes, this occurs. Yes, they are from your future along your timeline.
Okay, so this is a name dropper. So do you know Bashar?
Of course.
You do?
Of course.
Oh, that's so cool.
Not personally, but we do not need to know him personally.
Oh, okay. I just thought it's...
From Essassani.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Where is Essassani in? Is that Pleiadian?
It's in the sky.
It's in space.
Yes, it is part of the Pleiades
Okay, thank you.
formation. When you look this way, you will see it.
Just in that general direction. Okay.
Yes.
So Dolores Cannon did a lot of work communicating with extraterrestrials. In her book, The Convoluted Universe, spoke of a new Earth and an old Earth, sort of the shift, the split, where
Yes.
there were literally, one was more representative of decay, ego, power struggle, lower vibration, and one that was more light, more unified, higher vibration.
These themes that you mentioned of the dark are missing. This struggle between have not, good, bad, positive, negative,
What do you mean
evil.
they're missing?
Those are gone. Those are missing from the new Earth.
Okay,
This is where you are going.
to the new Earth.
Yes, but you are not going there physically. You are already there.
I feel
You will go there because you choose to go, and you have chosen this.
So are there, okay, so I look at that as during our floods that we had here in Houston,
Yes.
there were some that absolutely were underwater, and then there were some of us that didn't touch anybody, didn't touch anyone really in my reality, and is that an example of creating your reality? Or was that just a hit or miss thing?
Both. There is some hiddenness, there is some creation. When this event occurred, many people knew along the timeline in their personal life contract that there would be benefit for them to participate, and so they came and did.
Mm-hmm.
But not everyone. It was hit or miss for some, but there was a lesson in it for others. The greater lesson for all participants and observers, whether specific intent to participate was there or not, was what they saw and observed. We believe the benefit was immensely positive and greatly enhanced humanity's view of itself and all things it has.
Mm-hmm. That's true. That's true.
There was something in here I wanted to ask to clarify, because it talked about a lot of coming earth changes, volcanoes,
Yes.
earthquakes,
Geophysical changes.
geophysical changes, and that it would be more intense, and then it would be a lull, it would be intense, and
There will be
that's-
phases or cycles, yes.
right, and then that's at some point after an intense period of geophysical changes when there would be more contact, more disclosure.
Yes. If humans choose this. But this is not foretold. This is not specifically scheduled. Humans do have the capability to reject this, and that rejection will be honored. There is no question about this. However, this is highly unlikely. More than likely is that this will occur possibly more quickly than even we have anticipated through our observance of all of the moving parts in this process. The example was given by the previous question, the hurricane and its effects in and around Greater Houston. This worked out better than was planned or expected, to the great and overwhelming joy of all who observe and live on Earth.
Mm-hmm.
All of the guides of all the souls on Earth and all of us who visit.
Mm-hmm.
This was of great enjoyment to all of us.
Is it the outcome? Is it how we came together
Mm-hmm.
to help support?
It was the absence of negativity one upon the other, yes.
That's beautiful. Well, I just
Which
do-
unfortunately you have seen too many times
Yes.
Yeah.
on Earth.
Do you know what that is? I keep seeing that vision.
It's a gyroscope.
Okay, so this looks like space. This looks like
It's a gyroscope, and it represents turning and balance in many things, and that's why you keep seeing it.
okay, because it look like space, like a cluster with a line going.
It can be that also. It is, the line is the axis, and then spinning. This can represent everything from a galaxy to an atom.
There's a galaxy. That's what it was. Okay.
It can represent any of those, and also a galaxy. That is why you see it. It represents balance
Balance. Okay. And
that you have and will continue to seek and pursue and obtain.
thank you.
Oh my gosh, it's been so
Okay,
fun.
last question, and this is one that everybody talks about, and I've never heard the whys. So they say that when we set off the
Who are
bombs,
they? Who are they? We have to consult them. That's why we ask you who you mean by they.
Well,
We know who you mean. We want you to say it because we know there are people watching.
okay, so I don't really know who they are, but I know that
Yes, you
Patrick
do.
has
Yes,
talked
you do.
about
Go
it.
slow. Yes, you do. Go slow.
All right. So Patrick's talked about it, and the other ETs, extraterrestrials, folks out in space,
Our friends, yes.
your friends, our friends, it has often been written or said that when we set off the bombs in Japan in the 40s,
Nuclear warheads, yes.
that the devastation obviously was great, and I understand that, and I understand the effects on Earth and the families, but I keep hearing people say that
They are worse,
way out. That,
yes, in the
that
fourth and
rivers
fifth
affect-
dimensions, in the fourth and fifth dimensions, and they are amplified.
Can you explain that to me?
Yes, absolutely. Envision the dimensions of which you speak as layers of equal thickness. A globe with a center of a certain diameter. Pick a unit and a number of units, it does not matter. Centimeters and 10, feet and 15, it does not matter. Then imagine a first layer of similar thickness, similar units and dimension. 10 of meters, 15 of feet, as you will. And then a third. That is who you are. So there's 10 plus 10 plus 10, or 30. That is the distance. In geometry, some will say no, because the center is the diameter, it is the radius, 10 plus 10 plus 5, or 25. We will say mathematically, in a geometric sense, that is correct. However, it must be the total thickness of the center must be taken into account because it is the core. Remember, core is simply another word for heart. In your other languages, corazón, coraza, cuore. They're giving me these words in other languages because they know I know them. So it is 30. The fourth dimension would be another 10. However, as you all know, what is the diameter of this fourth layer compared to the diameter of the core of 10, or the diameter of the first ring plus the core, which is 30. So what is the diameter of the third? 10 plus 10 plus 10 plus 10 plus 10, 50. So it's 10, 30, 50. And what is the fourth?
70.
Are you beginning to see? Now, look around the outside and notice how the circumference of this circle or this globe increases geometrically, logarithmically, not mathematically. Are you beginning to see the effect? When the nuclear detonation occurs, the force expands out in all directions, 360 degrees, like the surface of a globe or a ball. And the outer surface of the fourth dimension is far larger than the outer surface of the third. This begins to describe the effect that occurs. And as it enters the fifth dimension, it is logarithmically larger than it is within inside the third dimensions. When you set off a nuclear bomb, the horror and the pain that you cause to the level of the souls throughout the galaxy and the universe you do not know. For this reason, you will not be permitted to do it again. Not to save yourselves, although we are very happy to know that this will occur. That is not the primary purpose, although it is a very valuable secondary effect and a very good one. The primary purpose is simple self-protection. You will not be allowed to do this. We will not allow you to set off a conflagration. You can have your matches. You may strike one from time to time, but you cannot burn down the building. You will not be allowed.
I had to look that word up. It's a big fire.
It's a big fire. Good word. Wow.
Thank you for that.
Have we explained this well?
Yes.
Yes, it's like
We do not interfere and distort. This is out of our control. These are your own guardian angels and guides working in concert with your own souls that do this. We do not interfere. Alien extraterrestrials are not interfering, interceding, or sticking control into Earth affairs to stop the proliferation and use of nuclear weaponry. We are not doing this. These are guardian angel guides and souls. This is not alien interference. Anyone who says otherwise is practicing very good misinformation.
Practicing. So when I die,
You never
can I
die,
see,
your
okay,
body
okay.
ends.
When Carrie dies, when Carrie's body no longer breathes,
Correct?
can I see you then?
No, you can see me sooner. But do you want to?
Yes.
Okay.
Me too.
I've been sitting here trying to tune into you.
We will arrange it when it is suitable. This suitable moment will be frustrating, and it is almost guaranteed you will forget about it. Then it will happen.
So do I need to forget about it for it to happen?
No, you can think about it as much as you like. Just when you feel frustrated that it hasn't happened yet, don't feel frustrated. We have not forgotten.
Well, it's like a surprise. It's like a wonderful surprise waiting to happen.
You will be disappointed because it will be interesting, and then it will be like a movie. Nothing great will happen. Your life will not change.
But I don't want
Nothing
to
that you would prefer to improve in your life will improve because of it. Nothing that you are afraid will worsen will get worse because of it.
I think what I'm like, so do I have access to you? Can I talk to you?
Of course.
Can I channel with you?
Of course, anytime you would like, as long as we are here. It is very difficult if we are not around Earth because of the distance. The telepathy is affected by distance and by certain extraterrestrials. We are not all the same. In fact, we are as varied in ability as different humans are in the abilities of many things humans do. So for us, it would be difficult if we are not around Earth, and we are not often. But we are here now because we knew this book would be discussed, and we knew that we contributed to the book. So how could we not? How rude would that be?
So how long are you in town for?
That's what I was just wondering.
Oh, it depends.
We can take it out.
What time units do you wish us to measure?
Human, Earth.
Okay, which time units on Earth?
Well,
Minutes,
months.
hours, seconds, months? No. We will be returning home within one of your days, but one of our vessels will return back to Earth within the week.
Okay.
We are here very regularly. Mostly we are around Earth, but we are not, as you would say, here on Earth, close enough in orbit to do what we are doing now. But we are always around in the area, generally within the orbit of your moon.
Do you zap us with crop circles every now and then? Leave a little
Oh, yes.
graffiti tag while you're here?
This is great fun. Many civilizations do this that are not part of the Star Cluster group, but are invited in to do this because they enjoy it. And we enjoy watching it. We don't enjoy watching it. It does not take very long. The creation of a crop circle is accomplished in minutes. It is the reaction.
Watch them dance, Fred.
We refer to what you would call a stand-up comedian and the audience reaction. It is that entertaining for us to watch the human reaction.
So it's
And this is why we do it.
It's like we're non-invasive, we're non-interfering, but we're going to give you a little
But we're gonna make you dance.
give you a little giggle here and there.
And it's fun for us to pick a design, to pick a location, to pick a moment, and then do it. Is it not fun to climb over the wall and jump in the neighbor's pool?
You guys are
Does
naughty.
does it hurt their pool? No.
Zebulon, you're naughty.
Now, you can make their pool dirty. We try not to make anything dirty, but we enjoy jumping in your pool. Why not?
Oh, that's so
Just don't be
funny.
in our pool. So, okay. So right now, what are you doing right now in your ship? Are you
Talking to you.
Well, I know, but are you sitting? Are you standing?
I'm sitting.
And are you focused?
Why stand when you have a chair?
Well, this is true. But are you focused or are you? Can
This
you
is
do
focus-
multitask? Can you multitask?
Just as you can.
Well, this is pretty focused.
If you are asking if I am looking at my iPhone, no, I am not. I do not have
Do you
one.
have an iPhone?
You have a glass pad?
No, I do not have one. We have other devices which are similar. No, I am not looking at them right now.
Oh.
In fact, I am looking out of what you would call a window or a porthole.
Can you show me? Can you show me what you're seeing?
Earth. Exactly as you would see of the many photographs that have been taken of Earth from the moon.
How come in the photographs there are never stars? It's only Earth and black space.
They block them out. There are plenty of stars. Trust us.
I had a dream recently. I was on a ship looking down on Earth.
You weren't dreaming.
Yeah, you weren't dreaming.
Was I with you? Was that?
No, but you weren't dreaming.
Okay.
Where you were, that's between you and your guides.
Oh.
Shh. We do not kiss and tell.
Okay, so I had a dream where I time jumped and I came back. I was back in 1980 something in Houston, and I was running, and fell asleep.
And it was warm, wasn't it?
Yes, but they put these little bots in my arm, and I woke up and this guy got most of them out, and then I realized that they were coming, and this guy. Anyway, it didn't feel like a dream, and this.
It was a
dark
memory.
Energy came.
Because it was a memory.
Really?
Yes, of course.
From what?
From the experience. What you dreamed was the memory.
Yeah, there are definitely dreams, and then there are not dreams.
Well, they were all dreams in that they occurred while you were asleep and your soul was out of the body temporarily, as always occurs. That occurs with us. It occurs with humans. That is very normal. It occurs with all sorts of living beings all across the galaxy. There's nothing unusual about that. But then when you wake up, and this happens with us also, when you wake up and come back into what you believe to be your conscious awareness, the memory of it or the sensation fades to something that seems like it was not a part of your awakened experience. This happens to us also. I think we understand it differently. I hesitate to say better, because what does better mean?
Better.
This is more relative than you might think. But this happens to all of us, and that's what happened to you. But don't worry or think any consequence of it. This was simply a memory. Do you have conscious memories of something that happened that you liked? You do. Do you have conscious memories of things that you disliked? You do. Do you have conscious memories of things in the middle? You do. No different.
That's true. That's true. So where do you go when you're out of body?
I don't know until I get there.
Are you consciously aware of it? I mean, I know you were saying better.
No, it works very much for us as it does for a human. Although I believe that the memories, but I don't know because I'm not you in your body, so I cannot say for you, just like I cannot eat for you or go to the bathroom for you or anything else for you. But I believe that it is somewhat similar. However, the memories might be a little bit more clear. The difference I would suggest is, how do you remember a book you read 1 week ago versus the same book or a similar book read 3 months ago? So we seem to remember the story with a more recent occurrence.
Okay.
But other than that, it is no different
So where's your mom?
on my home planet.
Well, thank you so much. We have to get your vessel on the road.
Thank you, and thank you for inviting me.
Zebulan
Thank
of
you.
Canopus.
That's beautiful.
I like that name I've been given. Of course, I don't use names, and it's not the name I use, but I like it.
You like it?
It's like being given on Earth you would call a pink Cadillac to drive around the block. That is not yours, but you enjoy driving it because it's pink. So I like this name. Thank you.
All right.
We can
Thank
call you Zeb.
Yeah, Zeb.
I like that too.
Thank you, Zeb, for coming on the joyride.
My
in
honor
your
and pleasure.
In your pink Cadillac.
No, the pink is yours. No Cadillac for me. Thank you.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
How'd I do?
You did great. How are you?
Do you
Boy, oh
remember
boy,
any
oh
of it?
boy.
Now we're going to put you in a car. Did you sleep till 3:30?
No, not much of it. Boy, he's an interesting guy.
Isn't he great?
Yeah, well, I had to look down because I'm seeing the inside of his ship while he's doing this. And
Oh
so,
my gosh.
and no, it's pretty plain. There's not much to see. And he's sitting in there, and there's a panel in the console, and he's looking out the window, and there's other people in the ship doing shit. But they're pretty much not paying attention.
So do they all do this?
Oh, yeah.
Or he just
They
likes
all do
tapping
this.
in?
They all do this. No, they like. Well, the aliens, yeah. It depends which one I tap into.
So, like, we're recording this to put out on ours. Did they record it to, like,
Of course.
send back home? So, like,
Of
they've
course.
got a little video
Of course,
camera?
everything they do anywhere around Earth is recorded and examined and studied and compared. That's why they come.
We're on their TV.
You've been on their TV. You think this is the first time that they're aware of it?
They have Netflix.
The problem we have as humans is that we want acknowledgement. And I took the book. Okay, my transmitter's on. your receiver has to be on, and then I have to have some way to know that you picked up and listened because you come back and tell me, or you phone me up, or you send me a text message, or you do something. Otherwise, I don't believe it. Well, we don't have that ability to get the confirmation. They're not going to come down and tell us, or send us an email, or send us a text message, or do something to confirm it. So therefore, it is very easy within our database of experience to say, didn't happen. It's very easy. It's very convenient because they're not going to send us back. Why aren't you going to send it back? Because that distorts things. That's why they're not doing it. Doesn't mean they're not getting it. They're watching your TV show all the time. Everybody that talks about aliens and anything other than a passing joke gets attention. Always.
I'm going to close with something from your postface.
Go ahead.
From your book. I do not care much for ET spaceships.
Nope.
Or to see their home planets.
Nope.
I'm not that interested in their use of technologies or joy rides at Warp 8.
Right.
I am, however, keenly interested in the ways the human race can apply new concepts on Earth for things such as disease, pollution, peace, poverty, and so forth.
Right.
I realize I'm in the minority and that a large majority of willing to invest beliefs might enjoy a book like this. You now have enough knowledge for an informed reaction to the news of extraterrestrial visitors. It will be offered. It's only a matter of time.
That's right.
Thank you so much.
It's my pleasure.
For this
Enjoyed it.
extended,
I'm glad
extended
Zebulan showed up and gave us a little bit of
joyride.
Zeb, excuse me, Zeb, that's right.
Jeb took a joyride in his pink Cadillac around with us. I love it.
Interesting the examples they pick.
I
It's
love
telepathy because they're picking that out of my mind.
Yeah.
They
yeah.
might be, but my
Pink
guide showed up the
Cadillac.
second time in a convertible pink Cadillac with fence.
Maybe they picked it up from you.
I
don't
love
know.
it.
I don't know. That was fun,
Thank
though.
you. Thank
This
glad you
was
liked it.
So much fun.
This was fun.
so-
Did you like it? Okay.
Thank you.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you
My
for
pleasure.
hanging
It
with
was-
us for the extended interview, and you got a lot more in-depth insight, information, and personal
I forgot they were
stories. And
there.
It's kind of long, folks. Sorry.
I
No, it's
might
okay.
split it up into a couple different.
okay, so thank
Okay,
you.
if it's been split up, then I take back and erase from your mind what I just said. If that makes it through the editing.
Bye.
See you later.
Bye-bye. Thank you.